Hello.
Hello.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. How is the weather situation in Texas?
Who knows? Like our power goes out randomly, so we'll see. What happens is the equipment heats up and then fails for it's not meant for temperatures this high.
At least you're getting a lot of sun now.
Yeah, it's 40. I don't remember if you're in Europe or US. 42 Fahrenheit. Sorry, Celsius. Like
That's
100
hot.
Fahrenheit.
That's too hot.
Yeah. Hello, guys. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We will get started in a minute. Is there somebody already on the call who might take notes? That would be great.
I'll do it, Leah, but if I get thrown off, someone else has to take over.
All right. Thanks, Malo.
I've thrown the meeting doc in the chat. If people want to add their names, please go ahead. I try to catch everyone, but I'm sure I don't ever manage to write everyone.
Yeah, maybe there's also a good call out. So in general, if you have like anything to discuss, because I think in the last couple of meetings, we didn't have like too many discussion items. You can just open up the document at any time and add your discussion items to a list. So feel free to do that. Or just come up with them like during the meeting. That's also fine. All right. So should we get started? It's 4 minutes past. I think that's fine. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. This is a CNCF meeting for the Technical Advisory Group for Environment Sustainability. Since this is a community meeting, this falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct, which can be summarized to be excellent to each other. Mal already shared the document, the meeting document, to the Zoom chat. If you like, you can add yourself to attendees list. It would be great. Thanks, Malo, for taking notes. And let's get started. Is there anybody new on this call who would like to introduce themselves? Just say friendly hello. Or anybody who is maybe not part of the recurring, I don't know, meeting cycle and just wants to say hi again. Okay, otherwise let's move on. There's always, like in the next meetings or during the meeting, you can also say, obviously, hi or hi via chat. That's also great. Nikki's on the call. I saw that you had a meeting yesterday from the working group GitOps around sustainability. Would you like to give like a short update on this?
Yeah, hi. So we kind of run those ad hoc at this point, and we had a good conversation on that because we had a low attendance yesterday, but it's also my fault because I didn't post it earlier. But we're also looking for anyone who would be interested in contributing. And yeah, I think that's kind of the most important part. But also we pivoted a little bit because while we did the benchmark tests for GitOps architectures using Flux and Argo CD, we're trying to move it to the Open GitOps project. And then this could actually be helpful in the issue about doing the SCI calculation for different CNCF projects, since Flux and Argo CD are both graduated projects. So that's kind of where we shifted the conversation to kind of start contributing to that project eventually.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I think this is also on the agenda, right? So we will talk about the working group a little bit later. There's also some movement in the space, which I just linked here, but we can also talk about this briefly a little bit later, which I find very interesting. Let's move on from the list about working groups. I don't think Kara is on the call. No, she's not. In terms of comms, so we have not established this working group like formally, so we don't have like a reporting schedule or anything like this. There's one discussion item here about the Cloud Native Sustainability Week, which is about communication. But I think besides this, I don't think we have too much to talk about. So we will pick up the working group comms probably in this discussion. Any comments from you all before we move on to the open discussion items? All right, then let's go to the first discussion item, which is about KubeCon. So this is open for quite some time. I think this is like the last topic about KubeCon EU we have to pick up, and then everything is wrapped up. So I think we have been postponing this over the last couple of meetings because we had discussions, presentations, and so on. We have a couple of comments here, which I would just go through quickly. So we are all aware. Essentially, I think to summarize all of them, I think we did quite well, especially if we keep in mind that we as a tag are relatively new. So we have not really experience like representing the tag at the conference. So this was for us. I mean, we also did this at KubeCon NA. But this was like even more ad hoc. So we did now like a little bit of preparation, a bit more preparation, I would say. So I think we did good. Meetups, talks, and ambassador things, informal meetups. So I think all this was pretty nice. We had a couple of discussions which led kind of in a different area. I think during the meetup, this was distracting us a little bit, so maybe we can have an eye on actually focusing on our scope. I think we did this quite well, but we can still improve on this. And maybe next time we can have a kiosk or some mini booth. There's like an option at KubeCon. So maybe if you are at the conference, you notice that like projects, smaller open source projects have like a mini booth, and we can also have one for the tag. So maybe next KubeCon, we can also have one, but this would involve that we have like a schedule and actually folks being there. Otherwise, it does not make sense. Right. Also talks, keynotes. I think that's very, very awesome that we had so many mentions in the keynotes and in the talks. if you remember, we also published like a blog post about the event, which lists a lot of all the talks basically around sustainability. So I think this was very awesome to see how many actually talks were about sustainability and energy and everything. Shoutouts for everyone. More of marketing through social media. Yeah, I think this is like or maybe Nikki, like I'm reading out your comments. You want to say something about your own comment? Maybe that's the best way.
I guess the social media accounts will be kind of run by the comms working group. Is that a correct assumption? Well, we haven't decided yet. But...
Yes. There are also some comments in chat. Let me follow up.
And we haven't had an update from the comms working group. I was wondering if
right. I think like for this meeting, this is too late. But we should make sure that next meetup meeting in 2 weeks, we have a proper update on the comms working group. So we make sure this is also moving forward. I think it's already, everybody gave a +1, so I think it's pretty safe that we are going through with this, but we need like a more proper introduction that we are also starting the work actually with the working group and it's not just formal. But this would be definitely like marketing stuff and so on would be part of this working group. So I expect if we are managed to establish the working group in the next months, we have like a better foundation in terms of social media and outreach and so on for the next KubeCon. But it's a good shout out, yeah. And the group photo. I think this is also a big one. Increased collaboration with the GSF. I think we already, like last meeting, we had someone from the GSF coming to our call, which I think is very great. I think we should do this more often. I don't think my mic is working, but requested that we add in also web pages again with the current set of talks about KubeCon. So that, yeah, Malo, I think this is like a good one. I think we can establish this as a habit, maybe also for the open source summit in Europe, which is coming up in September. We can have like the same thing for everyone. So there's like an events page. And we published for KubeCon EU for the first time, like a summary of what is going on. So if you're at the conference, you have like some more guidance and it's just easier to follow up on the talks. And we also did this a little bit for the Open Source Summit North America. So if there's like a conference you're attending, we can also just add it to this list. And maybe also a meetup, not last minute. Ask nowish. Yeah, I think, yeah, for KubeCon NA. So for KubeCon EU, we had like an in-person meetup. So we had like a room booked for us. So the CNCF booked a room for us and we met for, I think, 4 hours. I think this was very good. We can have the same thing definitely for KubeCon NA. And this would be the best place to also take this group picture. All right, so collaboration with the GSF. I think also in terms of the working group, which is now forming slowly, we will also have like an even closer relationship with the GSF in terms of adopting the SCI standard, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. Deutsche Fox. Right. So in terms of like outreach to major cloud hyperscalers or cloud companies, this might be something we could focus on a little bit more, would be definitely interesting. We heard about one of the keynotes at KubeCon EU was about KEDA and about Microsoft. So I think like maybe focusing a little bit more on this communication could also help. So I would see this like in a similar bucket as the GSF. Getting started guide. So we had a getting started meeting after KubeCon. It was also recorded. The recording is on YouTube. And we are planning to have like a getting started meeting every couple of months, every quarter or so after a major conference. But I think this is one point we should keep focusing on. There's currently one PR open. Where is it? A contributor path, which discuss a little bit like how to get started as well. So like starting out when you're volunteering and so on. So these are like the main items you should focus on if you're not as experienced and if you want to grow in the community. And this is giving you like more a path. So I think documents like this and meetings around this topic is definitely can be very valuable. Right. So right now, if anyone would like to take a look, if you're planning on sticking around for quite some time in the tag, that's very great. Maybe this document also helps. So it would be great to get your thoughts. Maybe you have like some, I don't know, comments, something. I can also link this in chat. 1 second. All right. +1 on mini booth. +1 on sustainability track. Right. So at KubeCon and other conferences, there are usually tracks for KubeCon and for the Open Source Summit Europe. There is actually a sustainability track. And I mean, with all this comment, all these talks about sustainability, probably in maybe KubeCon EU next year, we could also have like a sustainability track. So this would be awesome too, or a side event. Let's continue. Keep doing regular meetings, highlight talks and meetups. Shout out to Inclusive Space. Right. I also think this is conferences like these are a great opportunity to give a shout out to you all. If somebody is just contributing a lot to the tag, I think this is like a great place also to acknowledge all of your work and just show like on a bigger stage that this is like truly a community and group effort. So I think shout outs definitely is also something we can do more often, especially during the conference. Sustainability related talk quota. What do you mean with this?
Like perhaps even if it's not a track on sustainability, although that would be the ideal scenario, if each track could try to include some talks on sustainability, but that doesn't work. I think a sustainability track is better. Sorry, it was a wild thought.
It's like diversifying the talks, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. There's another comment from Malo. For KubeCon EU, we should ask for a sustainability track, like there are other tracks for KubeCon, right? Yeah, for
But
KubeCon,
now we have,
I know it's too late, yeah.
we have 2 people at least from the CNCF events team in our channel that joined recently, so we could chat with them directly.
Is there somebody who would like to follow up on this one? I will do it. Awesome. Nice.
I'm on mobile right now, so apologize the quality of sound. What about a located event? Would that be another option? If we
Yes.
can't get a track, I mean.
I guess this would be another option. We could like discuss. I think we can discuss both of them in the same, like in the same message, kind of. Jochen, are you also interested in follow up on this? Maybe you can team up with Marlon.
Yeah, interested definitely. I've just been swamped lately. I didn't even get to check this retro here out. Apologies.
worries. Yeah.
Was just
All right.
but in general, yes.
Awesome. More of content creation on the topic. Also social media awareness. Right. I think this goes in the working group comms direction. Get it started contributing guide for newbies. I think right. Maybe I don't know. Is there somebody here who would like to maybe follow up on this getting started theme? We already did some things, but maybe we can improve on that. Maybe it would be interesting to
Yes.
have
Yes.
somebody.
Yes. 100%.
All right. Awesome.
Sorry.
Would you like to open up
I'm
maybe an
working on that,
issue
actually.
and just to
Yeah.
maybe summarize or just collect like thoughts how we can improve this program in terms of getting started and so on?
Yeah, definitely. How do we feel about our landscape, and what do we think, how does the landscape relate to this getting started thing? Is the landscape a part of it, or is the getting started a part of the landscape? Or neither, and they just reference each other? Like,
So the landscape
what are
is
we
just
feeling?
is one of the projects we have. It's the first project we started, I would say, but we will have more projects in the future. Right now, for example, I would say that like the working group comms is also like a continuous effort, like a continuous project. The same thing also for the new working group, which is now forming, and the getting started stuff should like introduce somebody who maybe is an experienced contributor in general or an unexperienced contributor to the tag, and just onboard them to our work and so on. But we can also discuss this on the issue if you opened it up.
Yeah. Let's discuss it on the issue. Just one more thought about it so that people know why I'm asking this is because the getting started should provide an overview, right? For people that are new to contributing and who are new to contributing about sustainability efforts in the cloud. And the landscape is
I lost you on the last
providing
1 or 2 sentences.
Oh shit, sorry. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
It's basically both are there for providing overview and context, and this might be hard to distinguish. Which
right.
When do I provide context and overview for people who are interested in this in general, or who are people who are new to this?
Right. I think one focuses on like contributing to the tags work, and the other one, the landscape document, focuses also more on the end user who's just trying to understand what the cloud native sustainability space looks like. But I would say in terms of like time, because we have quite a few other topics, let's discuss this, I think, in the issue. Would be great if you open it up.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks. Ideas with time. Local meetup groups. Right. I think this goes a little bit in the direction of the Cloud Native Week event, which we talk about in a second. Local speakers and organizations. Right. I think we can also do, maybe this is also going in the working group comms direction, but we have, for example, Christina is now giving a talk, I think today, in Oslo about sustainability. So we could also maybe more support this, these talks, and also uplift those talks in our community. I think this would be great. All right. I will leave this open for now. If you have like any thoughts on on the KubeCon in general, please feel free to comment. Otherwise, I think we can close this soon. There's a lot of good stuff. We should make sure that we follow up with issues and so on. Okay. So this meeting is a little bit weird because I'm talking a lot. Is there anything you would like to add to this item before we move on? Okay, otherwise, let's briefly talk about the Cloud Native Sustainability Week. Tomorrow we will have a dedicated meeting, so I will not go into too much detail because most of the stuff is discussed tomorrow or is already kind of discussed in the issue or in the documents. But just like as like an overview for all of you, we have currently around 25 different folks or meetups interested in supporting in this effort. So the second week of October, we will have potentially, I mean, maybe some will drop out, maybe some will join this effort. But for the looks of it, we will have 25 different in-person meetups around the globe, kind of, in this week, which I think is very awesome. And I think that's a big number. And we have a lot of smaller items for us to do to make sure that we actually leverage the most of it from this event. For example, maybe also sharing a survey, inviting speakers, organizing the entire event, making sure that our communication is right, making sure that we also contribute back to the landscape document and maybe other efforts, onboarding new people to the tag and so on. So there's a lot to do. Right now, issues are under this milestone. So if you would like to help out on, for example, the website or social media promotion, or maybe drafting up a survey or anything like this, feel free to check it out. I think this is like a great opportunity to contribute to the tag. Any comments to this effort? Are you also excited about the event? Thumbs up.
Yes, very, very excited.
Nice. I think it is already going great, and I think the more we approach actually the second week of October, I think the more awesome it will be. I see a couple of yeses in chat. Nice. Right. And then we have a couple of pull requests open. Feel free to take a look. Already talk briefly about the contributor path. I think this is a very interesting one if you're new to the tag or new also to open source in general. Just to also mature as a contributor in the tag. I think this is aimed to give you a good guide. Feel free to take a look. And these two ones are more like on the governance side, so maybe they're a little bit, I don't know, boring. This one, for example, adds like a playbook for hosts. So if you're maybe in the future are leading like a working group or something like this, you will also host a meeting and just gives some guidance how to organize the meeting. Maybe that's also interesting. All right. Let's talk about the working group proposal. Nikki, would you like to share your screen? I can also continue sharing my screen. That's fine.
We can share, I think. Thanks. We've had an interesting discussion last week, we, at the same hour as this meeting, we met a few of us to discuss the initial feedback that we need to refine the scope of the working group. And that led to kind of one outcome was realizing that green ops in itself is a term that is not well defined enough. It sparks more conversation about what green ops is or isn't, or the value of green ops, which is a really good discussion to have as well. But the initial idea behind this working group was to have a space to go into, to adopt a technical project that people can work on. And so the kind of theoretical discussion around green ops, I think, well, it's been on my to-do list and Leo as well, but we want to start a new issue kind of on green ops and defining it, providing examples, etc. The second outcome of the meeting was to maybe adopt the project on, sorry, where is it? The one on calculating the carbon emissions, like the carbon intensity of CNCF projects, which this one has more focused on SCI, the software carbon intensity, gathering the different metrics necessary to complete this formula. There's also a suggestion on green software patterns. And so this is already more refined as a project, and it would be specifically to look at CNCF projects, such as Falcon, right? That's the name, or Flux, Argo City, etc.
Yes. Falco.
Falcon.
Yeah.
So,
Where's the link?
and we're meeting again next week on Wednesday, same time as the regular meeting, to further discuss it. And we kind of rewrote the working group proposal in the Google Doc, and we don't have a name. So naming is one of the most challenging things, as we all know. Any suggestion for a good name is welcome, and any feedback, any thoughts. I know it's a little bit unclear right now with the direction of where we're going, but any feedback from the community or what you're interested in contributing to would be very, very welcome.
Yes, maybe a couple of comments also on this. So I think the entire green ops topic is also very interesting and very relevant. I think we've seen a lot of discussions at KubeCon and in general about this. It's very closely related to FinOps, which is another big topic in general. So I think it makes sense that we look into this as well. Also last week, no, 2 weeks ago, I don't know, last week, a couple of you were interested in exploring green ops. I think we can definitely create a project around this and maybe write a white paper or something like this, which could help a lot. I think the entire ecosystem to understand what we are actually talking about when we talk about green ops. So feel free to maybe open up a thread in Slack, and then afterwards, after a discussion, open up an issue so we can also follow up on green ops, because the working group, as Nikki just said, is moving in a slightly different direction. So the working group is now moving towards reporting on the sustainability footprint of cloud native projects. So for example, the tag contributor strategy is doing governance reviews. The tag security is doing security reviews on cloud native projects. And this working group would move towards a cloud native footprint review kind of, or helping those projects to like build their project to be more, to expose metrics for end users, but also considering the cloud native footprint in their releases. I think this is also very relevant, but it's kind of different from the original idea.
Could we get maybe a show of hands, or if you could put in the chat, put a 1 if you're interested in a green ops project / working group, a 2 if you're interested in a softer carbon intensity project or working group, and a 3 if you're interested in both. So we don't have one or the other, kind of both.
We have 11.
We have
That's 2
11.
times 2, 1. Yeah, I mean, it's both is very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, yes, so 3. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I expected, honestly, because obviously everyone's interested in everything on this.
So I think this is very great. What we
Yes.
need is that we have like someone who actually is driving both of these projects. So right now, Nikki and Christina are more moving towards the SCI staff working group. I think it would make, I mean, it does not make sense that everybody's doing everything. So I think we should split this work a little bit. If anybody is here interested maybe in driving this a little bit more actively, that would be very much appreciated. I think this could be a very interesting project. And I think the green ops stuff would also be time-based, maybe until end of this year, so that we work in as a tag together to maybe write a white paper until the end of this year. All right. I think we can also follow up on this over Slack, since not everybody is joining this meeting right now. Is there anything, any comments to this working group proposal before we move on? Challenge accepted, I guess.
I think if someone would like to start an issue about green ops, like create a new issue on the repo that is about green ops, that would be great, so that we can even start raising all the questions we have about what green ops isn't, what it looks like, patterns, etc.
Yeah, that would be great. So I will add the calendar invite for next Wednesday and write it in Slack. If you're interested in the working group, make sure to check out both of these links. The Google document is probably the best place right now because it has like the latest discussions, goals, non-goals, scope, and so on. All right. Let's move on to the next item. David.
Yeah, hi. This is essentially an invitation or a little request. I'm also part of the end user group, the SIG developer experience, which usually is referred to as the end user group. And we usually plan the topics we want to discuss a couple of weeks in advance. And so the proposal has been made to discuss sustainability from the end user perspective. What can end users do regarding sustainability, or which aspects of this, in fact, can be influenced by end users? And I think this is a relevant topic here from the end user perspective, but it's obviously overlapping widely with the topics of this group. And so it would certainly be nice if any of you guys would want to join. It's taking place on Wednesdays, so that's July 20th, 4 weeks from now, tomorrow in 4 weeks. Time is 1 hour later than this slot, so it's 9 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Yeah, I'd quickly link the Google document from that working group. Hopefully that's right. In the chat here, so you can get the coordinates and Zoom meeting from there.
So is this SIG part of the tag contributor strategy, or is this?
I think it's essentially a standalone SIG. And it's essentially, you know, taking care of whatever the end user group is willing to come up with. Or I think it's the end user public. We had troubles with the repository recently.
All right, maybe it would be best to write this in Slack.
Yeah, no problem.
Sounds interesting. Always good to talk about sustainability and just connect with other groups. I think I lost track of my tabs. I don't know. All right. Thanks, David, for giving a shout out. Are there any comments? Is there anybody interested in joining this meeting maybe and talking about sustainability? Can you share the link? Meeting notes here, chat.
If anyone comes up with any kind of question later or any idea, use Slack. I'm usually following that.
Sounds good. Maybe one question to this sustainability in terms of environment sustainability, or like overarching also social things in terms of equity and probably environment sustainability.
I think it's essentially being about carbon footprint.
Okay. Sounds good.
So would it be okay?
Well, the discussion is usually open, so it sometimes moves around
yeah.
to whatever kind of subtopics people come up with.
Yeah.
We have multiple volunteers. Marlo, Jochen, who would like to join? Is it okay? Is there any, sorry if you mentioned it, is there any restriction, like does it have to be end users, or anyone from the tag could come and contribute to the discussion?
Well, usually it's restricted to end users, but it's not technically enforced. And if we invite someone, I'd say all of this group are more than welcome to join. I mean, in the Google Doc, there's the link. You just follow that. That's all there is.
Good. Sounds good. All right, let's move on. Or are there any questions to this? Okay. Malo, are you still with us? Do you have a microphone?
Yes, I have a question.
You have a question?
And with end users, do you mean end users of Kubernetes, aka developers, or do you mean end users like the people who then use these applications, like aka my grandma?
Well, end users is meant in terms of the CNCF definition. So the
All right, okay,
CNCF
yeah.
has a group of end users as as CNCF members defined, and this is essentially CNCF members who are not offering CNCF services directly, and in terms of from CNCF projects are end users of these projects. In our case, we are an email provider, so we are not offering Kubernetes to our customers. We are offering email, so we are an end user of CNCF software, and that's all the user group.
All right, yeah, thank you.
So if you look at the CNCF page, you can join there as an end user, and the usual different levels.
Any more questions?
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Right, let's move on. So Malo does not have a working microphone, but I think that's fine. I can pick up this topic. So it's about versioning. So this is like a small technical discussion, I would say, like organizational discussion maybe. So maybe some background information. We are all aware probably that that the landscape document is on this website. It's part of our repository. There's also a Korean version. If we publish, if you are interested in working on a different language, you're very happy to do so. And we can just add another translation to it. So this is like the Korean one. So since this is like an official kind of artifact of the tag, there's like a process around publishing those. We kind of have to make sure that the TUC signs off on this document. And since we don't want to sign off on every small change, we decided to have like a kind of a versioning to it. Right now it says like in the top, this document is version 0.1. Since we know it contains gaps, which we will address over time. We decided, I think, where's the issue? What file call? We decided to versioning. To do versioning every 6 months or so, basically on a need base. We will do the translation or try to do the translation with every major like update to it. And then the TUC will also sign off on this update. And probably we will rename the document versioning from 0.1 to have the name actually in the date. I think that's a good move. This is just something I don't think Milo, maybe you can just write in chat. Is there anything you would like to discuss about this? Because I think we are kind of on the same page, all of us. right. Yeah, we need to do a PR to actually rename the page. Yeah, that's true. And right, other than that, I think the versioning is kind of okay-ish or fine. We will just do announcements every half a year or something, and then just summarize all the changes that we made. I think that's a good outreach. And also maybe in the same fashion, if you have like anything which you see in your day-to-day work or at your research or in a blog post, feel free to also feed in this knowledge in this document. So we have like one common like landscape document which tries to cover the entire cloud native sustainability space. Maybe Malo, if you like to also write this in chat. Do you have time to work on this PR? Otherwise, I could also do it. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Nice. Any questions to the probably Friday? Yeah, that's awesome. Any other questions to the landscape document, to the versioning? If not, let's move on to Nikki.
So OpenCost is tool that is a sandbox project in the CNCF, and they have carbon emission ratings, the last bullet point on their roadmap. I was wondering if there's anything that the tag can do to help or support this kind of initiative, or is that outside of the scope?
So is there anybody interested in helping with this? I think in general, this is like interesting for us. It's obviously our scope. Carbon emissions and everything falls under our work. I think this goes slightly in the direction of green ops again, which I think is very interesting. So I think this is also a good opportunity. Yeah.
Maybe if I can try to reach out and see if any of the maintainers who are involved in this could join the tag and kind of have a discussion in one of the upcoming meetings.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Maybe they can have like a small discussion about what their plans are and so on, and maybe also where they see OpenCost is going in terms of including sustainability.
Yeah, it also sounds really challenging to try to do that, but it would be really great to try.
Seems super relevant and can help end users a lot. Yeah, I also see that. Actually, maybe do we have like a tracking issue for presentation so we can keep track of those things? Maybe we do. Maybe Nikki, would you be open to creating a tracking issue for this kind of stuff, tracking presentations?
Demos, like
Yep.
the tool demos. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Any comments, questions also? This is like the last open discussion item. We still have 5 minutes left in this call. Is there anything you would like to talk about? Anything awesome happening in terms of cloud native sustainability, which you noticed? Are you talking at the conference or writing a blog post maybe?
Or
Well,
David.
rather the opposite, fighting in a company to get the resources to get a couple of sustainability tasks done. Because businesses seems sometimes more promising than taking care of sustainability issues.
Right. We have so many problems, and now we also need to care about sustainability.
Yeah, right. But I think that's a common pattern that everybody probably knows.
Yeah. Yeah, it's challenging sometimes to sell it, I guess.
Might be a good subtopic in the end user group as well.
Yeah, would be interesting to if you, I don't know, had like a more in-depth discussion, maybe to also route back to this tag again, maybe talk about your findings. I don't know, your experiences. Yeah, if you like.
Yeah, I think I could share that at some point.
Awesome, nice.
Need to clarify what I'm allowed to share, but usually we
Yes.
are pretty open.
Sounds great.
We could have an open discussion question next time or another time on how the challenges or the things people have tried, and even the things that have not worked with regards to implementing solutions around cloud sustainability. Maybe we'll learn from each other that way.
Yeah. That's also one of the goals which we have with the Cloud Native Sustainability Week. So in this week, we have so many attendees and so many speakers in total. So one of the focuses is that we track on the learnings, that we record the sessions, that we have the survey to actually route back the learnings, and that we understand where companies are at the moment. So it has definitely a focus also on end users. Maybe also interesting to you, for you, David. I also, Tyler is also aware of this. So he's also not involved with the organization, but he's aware that this has it's also relevant maybe for the end users. But definitely, yeah, we can also have next week, like a session, something like this, FAQ session. A new role where I will be dedicated to sustainability within our enterprise architecture org. Nice. Congrats on your role. All right. 1 minute passed, I think. Thanks everyone for joining this call, this meeting, and have a great rest of the day, and see you all around. Next week is the working group proposal meeting, where we dig into this proposal again. Have a look if you're interested in this topic. I think this is a very interesting initiative, and see you all online.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Great. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.